This is about defending democracy. This is no longer Democrats versus Republicans. What do you want your kids to believe in? There must be give and take.
This is White Flag with Joe Walsh.
Hey, Joe Walsh, former Congressman Joe Walsh, with you. It is a Wednesday, I believe. I've lost track of time. I've lost track of days. And you've probably been wondering, everybody has, where have I been? Well, again, this is White Flag with Joe Walsh. I've taken a wee bit of time off of this podcast, and let me explain, and I hope you're okay with that. Didn't have a conversation last week. No conversation this week. We will jumpstart again right after Labor Day in a big, big way. White Flag with Joe Walsh again, new format, some brand new exciting conversations. We'll jump right back into doing a couple things, and I'll explain those two things to you shortly. But first, I owe you an apology because I have taken a little bit of time off. I haven't gone on vacation. I really haven't gone on vacation much the past 5 to 6 to 10 to 12 years. And I'm still working and on TV and doing podcasts and tweeting and doing everything else I can do. But I needed to take a break from White Flag with Joe Walsh because I'm tired. No other reason, rationale, or excuse. I am exhausted. I have a bad habit of not taking time off. I have a bad habit of not sufficiently taking care of myself. Look, I know a lot of people love what I do and a lot of people hate what I do. I'm in the fight every day. It's what I have to do. There's nothing special about me. I'm in the political fight every day because in my bones, I believe that our democracy is teetering right now. I really believe that. I believe this country that we all love, and I know we all love it, even though we disagree on what it is. This country that we all love, I really, really believe is in a whole heap of trouble. Trouble that most of us can't even imagine, fathom. I believe these next 14 months are going to be unbelievably rocky, bumpy, ugly, and dangerous and violent. And so I engage every day and I fight every day. I grab my musket and I go to war politically every day. And it's tiring. I get beat up every day. Even if you're listening to me right now and you're a fan of Joe Walsh, there are a lot more people out there who are not fans. For every person who reaches out to me to say, Joe, I love what you're doing, man, keep it up, brother. For every one of those, I hear from 20 to 30 people who say, fuck you, Joe, die, Joe, burn in hell, Joe. Day after day after day. I've developed thick skin. I've been in this for a while. I've put up with hate for a long, long time. But every now and then, I can't tell a lie, every now and then it gets to me. And I just need to check out. And so that's why I didn't put out a conversation last week and this week. I needed to rest. I just didn't feel like I could do what I ordinarily do every week, which is sit down with somebody with whom I disagree and have a good, interesting, tough, respectful conversation. I just didn't have the energy. I haven't had the energy to do that. A little bit every year, right? We all need to take some time off. We all need to get away. figuratively speaking, and that's what I've done. So, apologies for the lack of white flag conversations and podcasts this past week or two. Just no BS. I'm tired, and I needed to get down on my knees and relax for a little bit. You know, problem that I have is I always have done this. You know, I'm still the same Tea Party musket grabbing dude I was back in the old Joe Walsh days, and I'm passionate about what I say. I take seriously what I say. I internalize what I say. When I say that I think Trump is an existential threat to our democracy, I really believe that. And I don't just say Donald Trump is an existential threat to our democracy. I say Donald Trump is an existential threat to our democracy. I believe it. When I say that I worry that this country is too divided to keep it together, to keep this thing together, this American experiment together. When I say that, I believe it, and so I say it with passion. I tend to say what I say with passion and righteous anger every day. It's hard to keep that up every day. I do my best to keep it up every day. But every now and then, we're all human, you like me. Every now and then, I crash. It was that way when I was in Congress. It was that way when I was on the radio all over the country. Every now and then, you just crash. And that's okay. I believe that we are in a battle to defend our democracy, but we're in a battle to see if the United States of America can stay united. I believe that. I hope we can. But I believe that, and I've believed that for a long, long time. One of our two major political parties has become completely radicalized, untethered to the truth, given up on democracy, embracing authoritarianism, dead set on destroying their political enemies. This is where my former political party is at right now, and it's my former political party, a party I left 3.5 years ago. But even though I left the Republican Party, it still kills me, stabs me right in the heart every day when I think about where my former party is right now. Slaps me that I'm fighting with my former political party, that I'm fighting with my former congressional colleagues, that I'm fighting with all of my former supporters and followers. Every day, that's what I do. Primarily, that's what I do. It just slays me that we're here, that I'm doing that. If you'd have told me 10 years ago that I would be on a side helping to get Democrats elected, me, Tea Party Joe Walsh, I would have thought you're fucking off your rocker. But here I am again this cycle, doing all I can to help Democrats win. And by the way, a reminder to all of my Democratic friends, to every Democrat listening to me right now, just a reminder, every day I have to remind Democrats of this. I am not a Democrat. This is to all of my Democratic friends. I'm not a Democrat, and that's okay. To all my Democratic friends, you and I disagree on most public policy, and that's okay. In fact, at this moment in time, I've taken all of my policy preferences and I've put them off to the side because it's all about defending democracy right now. Think about that. Think about how tough that is on occasion. Could you do that? I think you would. But imagine living in a time where all the policy you believe in and advocate for, you just put that to the side for a while and you lock arms with Republicans to defend our democracy. That's what I've done. I've put my policy beliefs to the side and I'm locking arms with Democrats again this cycle to defend our democracy. No regrets. Don't feel sorry for me. I don't deserve a pat on the back for that. Every now and then, though, it's hard. I guess what I'm saying is every now and then it hits me, and it's hit me this past week or so, which is why I've needed to take a little bit of time off and why I've kind of halted White Flag with Joe Walsh for a week or so, is it just hits me every now and then that I am politically homeless. Love my Democratic brothers and sisters, but I'm not on that team. I'm working with them momentarily, temporarily. We're on the same side, but I'm not a Democrat. I can never, ever, ever go back to the Republican Party. Third party, fourth party. I've been talking about that shit for years. It ain't going to happen now. I'm glad that I'm independent. I'm glad that I just say what I believe. But it's difficult at times not to belong to a political team. Yeah, it's so easy, right? There's the MSNBC team and the Fox News team. And I go on MSNBC, I go on CNN, I don't go on Fox because Fox won't let me come on. But even when I go on MSNBC, I'm not of their team. They know that, I know that. It can just be draining at times. So, enough about that. White Flag with Joe Walsh will return immediately after Labor Day. Got some great conversations coming up. You're going to get more of a daily Joe Walsh. We're going to do a daily 2 to 3 minute video and audio hit of me. This is the two things I promise you are, I have a weird, interesting, unique political voice because of my weird, interesting, unique political journey. From musket-grabbing Tea Party congressman to right-wing radio star to Donald Trump's most outspoken conservative opponent to helping Democrats get elected. It's been a weird, bizarro journey. I have a weird, bizarro voice, a unique voice that I think can impart some interesting wisdom during these crazy, chaotic times. You're going to get that voice now on a daily basis, every day. After Labor Day, I'm going to give you a 2 to 3 minute daily take, a daily hit, video and audio. You get to see my mug, shaven or unshaven. And I think that's really important as we now move into the 2024 campaign. And you will get a great conversation every week with really interesting, important people, people with whom I disagree, and we will model, because America so desperately needs this, we will model how to have respectful conversation with people with whom you disagree in a world that just doesn't do that. So White Flag with Joe Walsh will bounce back here right after Labor Day in a big way. Don't you worry about that. By the way, I have an email address. I'd love your input. I really love your input. What do you in fact, I need your input. Send me an email. The email is joewalshwhiteflag@gmail.com. That's all one word. joewalshwhiteflag@gmail.com. Send me an email and tell me what you think about the podcast. Tell me how it could be better. Tell me who you'd like me to have conversations with. Tell me. Give me your constructive criticism. Take shots at me. Try to do it respectfully. But tell me what you think, good, bad, and ugly, about this podcast. That would be so damn helpful. Again, the email, joewalshwhiteflag@gmail.com. Joe Walsh, White Flag, all one word, joewalsh@gmail.com. Please shoot me a quick note and give me your thoughts on this podcast. What you like, what you don't, how it could be better, who else you would like to hear from. We're trying to do something different and interesting and difficult with this podcast. It's a lot easier, and most podcasts do this. It's a lot easier to sit down every week with people who think like you. That's generally what the media is like, and that's generally what social media is like, and that's generally what podcasts are like. You generally have never-Trumpers talking to never-Trumpers, MAGA talking to MAGA, libs talking to libs. There are places for those conversations. That's not at all what I want to do. I don't want to sit down every week with somebody who thinks like me. I don't want to sit down every week with a never-Trumper like me. I don't want to sit down every week with a principled conservative like me. Boring. Don't want to do that. Ain't going to do that. Can't do that. Won't do that. I want to sit down every week with people who disagree with me. And I want to model for America how you can have respectful conversation. Because this country is on the precipice, I believe, of dividing for good. And I'm going to do all I can for as long as I have to make sure that doesn't happen, because I did a great job of helping to get us here, the divisive politician I was. So that's what I'm going to continue to do with this. You help me get it better. Please shoot me an email, joewalshwhiteflag@gmail.com. joewalshwhiteflag, all one word, @gmail.com. One more time, joewalshwhiteflag, that's all one word, @gmail.com. Shoot me an email. Let me know what you think about this podcast, how I can make it better. Have a great Labor Day weekend, everybody. As always out there, be brave. Talk to you next week.
Thank you for listening. Remember to listen, share, and follow White Flag with Joe Walsh on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere great podcasts are found. And be sure to leave a 5-star review. This has been White Flag with Joe Walsh.